And anyway, I got fascinated with this connection between information and intelligence and wondered if it was possible to formulate the case for what we later called intelligent design as a rigorous scientific hypothesis. And a year later, I found myself heading off to graduate school in Cambridge. And maybe ironically, but it was the case, I started to study very intently the works of Charles Darwin. Of course, I was interested in Darwin because of his ideas about the origin of species and so forth, but I was also interested in his work because he had pioneered a unique method of scientific reasoning that allowed scientists to investigate events in the remote past. And I realized that however we explain the origin of life, whether we invoke design or just undirected material processes, we would be trying to explain something that happened a long time ago in an event in the history of life. So the method that Darwin developed seemed to be really important to deciding whether or not you could develop a scientific case for intelligent design. And the method he developed has a name. It's called the method of multiple competing hypotheses, or it's sometimes called the method of inference to the best explanation. And that raised a key question. What does it mean to be a best explanation? And as I got deeper into the subject, I began to study one of his key mentors, which was the geologist Charles Lyell. And one day a light came on for me as I was reading Lyell's book, Principles of Geology, being an attempt to explain the former changes of the Earth's surface by reference to causes now in operation. And that's where the light went on. Because what Lyell was actually saying, as I got deeper into his work, is that the job of the historical scientist is to explain events in the remote past by reference to causes now in operation, causes that we know from our experience are capable of explaining the event in question. So here's an illustration. If you go to eastern Washington today, there's still places out in the Palouse country where there are thin dustings of white powdery stuff. And if you're a geologist and you don't know what happened on May 18th, 1980 when Mount St. Helens blew up, and you're looking at that white powdery stuff, you're going to use the method of Lyell and Darwin. You're going to generate multiple hypotheses. Maybe it was a flood. Maybe it was an earthquake. Maybe it was a volcanic eruption. Now, of those three hypotheses, which one is best? Well, according to Lyell's principle, the best explanation is the one that invokes a cause which we know from our experience can produce the effect we're trying to explain. So with that criterion in mind, the best explanation is clearly the volcano, because we've seen volcanoes produce white powdery stuff, and floods and earthquakes don't do that. And so that was the mode of reasoning that I learned about from studying Lyell and Darwin.